Okay, so if they did the same thing to a U.S. citizen, though, obviously you'd think it's unjust.
Yes.
Okay. If they killed Kilmar Abrego Garcia, would you think it's unjust?
Yes.
Why's that?
Killing people is one of the worst crimes, in fact.
Okay, he
did. Obama killed 4 American citizens. We fact-checked this.
Wait, but you thought that was wrong, right?
Absolutely.
So then so if it's the case that you thought that was wrong, wouldn't it be wrong, for example, to put Kilmar Abrego Garcia in prison for the rest of his life without an opportunity to, like, have a case?
No.
Okay.
You see, so let me try this real quick. You're trying to equate, say, Barack Obama, right? He extrajudicially assassinated a 16-year-old kid without charge or trial. I mean, if a dude cracks a grandma over the head with a baseball bat and kills her, I say lock that guy up. Mm-hmm. If a guy accidentally runs a woman over, then we say there could be negligent homicide. There's degrees of whether or not the crime is bad. Is it justice in some circumstances and not when a crime is... Not all crimes are solved in the same way.
I'm not alleging that it's a crime.
They all rise to the same level of retaliation.
I'm not alleging that it's a crime. I'm saying it's illegal, and the Supreme Court found that. And right now, what we have, this is what the Trump cult does to you. This is what the Trump cult does to you.
What's with the ad hominem?
So this is what it does to you. You are defending an illegal deportation of a human being who has the right to have his case heard. The basic essence of due process.
Funny thing is, he actually, I mean,
denied of anybody, it will be denied of you in the course of time.
No, it won't. He's not a citizen.
So if you're
and he was
deported,
previously adjudicated as an MS-13 gang
that's
member.
false. And you brought it too.
No, it's not.
So
There was a finding that he was an MS-13.
No, so
absolutely.
You brought up collateral estoppel, didn't you?
Yeah.
So,
he'll be stopped from challenging it.
So of course not. So of course not. So this. So I know, because I have to say a lot of these lawyers like file shipwrecked, and they get shipwrecked as a lawyer, and it's garbage. And the truth is, there is no collateral estoppel here. What is the finding that the bond court hearing made?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
If someone does something illegal, is that just or unjust?
It's sometimes unjust, sometimes just. It depends.
If someone does something illegal, should they always be held under? No. Okay, so we agree that the real question here is not whether it's just or unjust, whether we think the penalty should be severe or not.
No. So I agree. Not all illegal things are unjust. I'm asking, in this case, is this illegal action by the Trump administration just or unjust? And you said it was just for the Trump administration to do an illegal deportation.
Now,
I'm
going
to ask you why. I'm going to ask you why.
Right. Let me answer that. So the first thing I got to say is, you keep loading this as though illegal is the pretext by which something would be just or unjust, which is why I asked you, is if something is illegal, is it just or unjust?
It can be. It depends.
Then you don't need to say, am I okay? Why am I okay with Trump doing something illegal? The question is the deportation.
No, I do need it, because I think as a standard, right, there's a threshold here that in the main, when the government does something illegal, we're going to presume it's unjust unless you can reach some threshold. Well, think about it, right? So if this can't just be a game of we let the government do whatever we want to people we don't like. We're fearful of the government wielding power in the main because of structural reasons. There's a reason. There's a reason. For example, you believe that someone who's accused, for example, of should be given a trial, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why is it that? Why do you think that someone who's so horrific, and if everyone agrees that this person, why should we give them a trial?
An American citizen gets a trial.
What about an illegal alien?
They don't.
So you don't think, so just to be clear, this is where we're at now. You don't think that crimes that are committed in this country by illegal immigrants, that they should have trials for those crimes?
The penalty?
No, we do have, wait, to be honest, we do have trials for illegal immigrants.
Hold on. So the penalty for an illegal immigrant typically is, for most who cross within 2 years, is expedited removal. That means their due process is an immigration officer will determine whether or not they're here legally or illegally.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about crimes. We're talking about crimes.
And yeah, so when we get someone here who or murder somebody, why are we going to spend taxpayer dollars when the outcome is going to be you get sent out of the country no matter what happens?
Tim, so actually, a lot of times, we deal with this, we want them to be prosecuted so that they actually face a punishment instead of getting deported. So that is, we actually spend a lot of taxpayer resources on prosecuting illegal immigrants, at least in Texas.
Punishment is deportation.
But like, I just want to dwell here for a second. The Constitution says that persons in this country get trials if they are accused of a crime before they're punished. No, it does not say that. You can read the
Well,
Constitution.
let's clarify the fact. Does it say citizens or persons?
So for example, there's different parts
Prisco,
of
let me ask you this though. In the case of Abrego Garcia, do you think that that is a sweeping policy that's being used to deport mass amount of people, or is
that.
this
What
a
is
one?
a sweeping policy?
Well, I'm just saying the pretext that we use to deport Abrego Garcia. I'm saying, do you think that that is being used right now to deport a massive amount of people, or is this an isolated incident in your opinion?
I don't think it's an isolated incident. I don't think it's relevant to the question presented, which has to do with this.
Kind of,
But I will answer it.
Well,
I
I'm
will-
just saying, a few. When you make an omelet, a few eggs are going to get, cracked. I'm just saying there are going to. It sucks how
Yeah,
it
but then
is.
just bite the bullet and say, yes, it was unjust. Of course it was unjust. We don't want the government in the main unless there's exceedingly like
go back
crazy
to-
circumstances to violate the Constitution, right?
Prisco, real quick, but do you think it's going to be used in a massive way? Or
It already
this-
is. It
Well,
already
who
is.
else? But who else? What other examples
So-
do we have? I know you talk about the cancer girl, but they actually were allowed to stay. So when leftists say that they were forced to leave, they
you-
chose to go with their family.
If
They
you
were
guys-
100% allowed to stay in America. So we didn't deport a cancer person. So that was.
If you guys are stuck in your echo chambers, and again, I think that there's some of that going
Don't
on here.
insult the
I think some of
audience
goes
like
there.
that.
So,
Give me a
so
break.
if it's that case, then you wouldn't know, for example, that this U.S. citizen, there's a parent here. There's an opportunity that people have basic due process rights to see if, like, I don't know, an aunt wants to care for the U.S. citizen, or another parent has parental rights and the right to have custody over the parent
Real
or the
quick, though,
child.
in the instance you're referring to, the mother requested the child.
I don't know which case. There are multiple cases of U.S.
There's
citizen deportation.
two.
One of which the mother denies that's what the outcome that she wanted. But regardless, the policy that we're talking about is with respect to people who are not citizens here. And you asked if it's like a mass policy. They're already by the Supreme Court again unanimously saying that these people are entitled to due process. You guys don't think that. You guys don't think that there should be due process. for these people.
I don't think that's. I don't think
Everyone
that's the
thinks
case.
they're entitled to due process. The
ask
question is
them,
what
ask them.
process is due, and it's
Do you think-
extraordinarily limited in the context
Wait,
of
but
illegal
Tim
immigration.
just said, even in the context of criminal, so Tim just said, in the context of a criminal indictment, that there should not be trials for people who are here illegally. You don't agree with that?
No, I don't.
See, hold on. This is a really good example for media literacy. What he did is he is falsely framing the arguments, redirecting it. What I'm saying is, there is no trial required for a crime committed by an illegal immigrant because they'll get an expedited removal before a trial can take
You're
place.
conflating an immigration hearing, which is civil, and I agree. There's no. So
Indeed.
you guys don't get confused. All right, I'm gonna teach you something.
I'm not
So
conflating anything.
Immigration law and a removal proceeding is not a criminal matter. Okay, that's different than the criminal proceeding. Yes, I agree. You don't need trials. That's why J.D. Vance is full of shit when he says that we need trials.
I gotta stop you. You are actually making a mistake. I am aware you are asking for a criminal trial for, let's say, an illegal immigrant who committed a murder. I am arguing that we will deport that person back to their home country, and then we're not going to hold a trial for him after the fact.
So wait.
true.
So you're gonna take a murderer who committed a crime in this country. You're not gonna subject him to punishment in this country, and you're gonna send the murderer back to El Salvador just so he can cross the border again and murder someone?
Well, that's why Trump has CCOT, doesn't he?
Well, hang on. That wasn't embedded in your hypothetical there that he would go to CCOT.
You presented information to the argument that was not previously included in it.
Which was
the
what?
argument is an illegal immigrant here gets deported first.
Before he goes to trial for murder? Come on, guys.
How do
He
you
should
have
go
a
to trial for
criminal
murder.
trial for someone who's not in the country?
Wait, so we do, this is high priority for our government to spend money on trials protecting U.S. citizens, and it's one of the, our common things as it turns. Guess what?
Actually, hold on. Let me give a
Wait,
hypothetical
wait.
to Tim, real quick though. Tim, this is where I think you're wrong. I'm sorry. So, would you have rather had Laken Riley's murderer just deported, or are you happy that they had a trial and got convicted?
Deported.
That's crazy. So you trust Bukele? You trust this
I
El
disagree with
Salvadorian
that.
guy?
Yeah.
Wait. Just to be clear. You trust?
but I'm
you
happy
trust
that
El
he's getting
Salvador to keep
punished.
this guy in jail? This guy committed a crime on U.S. soil, and you trust El Salvador? You trust El Salvador? Yeah. Here's the problem. What happens if Bukele decides this guy goes free? What happens if they overthrow Bukele?
I got it, guys. I figured it out. We secure our border.
So in this country, there's justice for crimes, and what you're talking about is injustice. It's for the purposes of expediting something, but it's not true justice. For example,
I actually disagree with you. I think what you're saying isn't justice. because what you are doing is creating a defense for people who had no right to be here in the first place, so that taxpayers have to spend money on someone who's not going to be here after this. And if you look at the case of Abrego Garcia, this guy, what was the due process that was failed? He was supposed to get what's called a USCIS official interview.
False.
To make it, this is under the law. This is actually the
You're
codified
wrong.
law.
It's
well,
eight-
okay, well,
eight-